Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are absolutely decoding the ultimate detectives toolkit, pulling directly from the classic text, Foundations of Logical Deduction. Look, if you've ever wanted to know exactly how to structure an unbreakable argument, or maybe how to tear apart a deeply flawed one, well, you are in the exact right place. We're going to transform raw abstract data into pure rational truth, and we're going to do it using the very same framework that philosophers and logicians have relied on for centuries to crack the toughest conceptual cases.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to map out 4 foundational rules of inference. We'll start with the foundations of logical deduction, move into Modus Ponens, tackle Modus Tollens, explore hypothetical syllogism, and finally wrap up with disjunctive syllogism. Let's dive right in.
Section 1. Foundations of Logical Deduction.
Okay, before we get to the rules, let's take those intimidating logic symbols and elegantly translate them into simple, everyday concepts. The arrow pointing right, that is our if-then statement. It just means one thing is leading directly to another. You can think of it as a clear cause and effect in our investigation. Then, we have the hook symbol. That stands for false or not, and it basically negates whatever comes right after it. It's essentially like crossing a suspect off your list. And finally, that little V shape stands for or, giving us distinct options or paths we can take. Keep this quick legend in mind as we go.
Section 2. Modus Ponens.
Now, please don't let the Latin name scare you away. Modus Ponens simply means that if P implies Q, and we know we have a true P, we definitively get a true Q. It's our logical forward step. Think of P as a trigger. If the rule says the trigger always causes Q, and we know for an absolute fact the trigger has been pulled, then Q must undeniably happen. Let's put this in detective terms, right? If it is raining out, then the sidewalk is wet. That is our rule. We look outside and it is indeed raining. Therefore, we can guarantee the sidewalk is wet. It is literally the most direct, forward-moving deduction we can make.
And this perfectly illustrates the procedural nature of logic. Think of P and Q as those abstract clues in our ongoing investigation. Step 1 establishes the rule. P leads to Q. Step 2 presents the raw evidence. P is undeniably true. Because of that, Step 3 isn't some wild guess, it's a mathematical certainty. Q is true. The rain falls, the ground gets wet. Case closed on that specific clue.
Section 3. Modus Tollens. So what happens if we need to work backward? That brings us to Modus Tollens. The crucial point here is that if P leads to Q, but our clue, Q, turns out to be definitively false, we must work backward to prove P is also false. Imagine knowing that P is supposed to guarantee that Q happens, but we look at the reality of the situation and Q hasn't happened at all. Going back to our previous example, if it is raining, the sidewalk must be wet, but we step outside and the sidewalk is bone dry. The only logical conclusion we can draw from the source text is that it couldn't possibly be raining. We deduce the cause by observing the complete lack of an effect.
By establishing a false outcome, we can cleanly eliminate the initial premise. In Step 1, we set the condition. In Step 2, we deny the outcome. And that denial acts exactly like a domino falling backward, leading us right to Step 3, forcing us to deny the trigger itself. The dry sidewalk cleanly knocks over the assumption of rain.
Just to really cement this in your mind, think about how affirming the start pushes us forward with Modus Ponens to a true conclusion, while denying the end pushes us backward with Modus Tollens to completely rule out the start. They are literally two sides of the same logical coin. They ensure we can deduce truths whether we're looking at the cause or the effect. You can solve the mystery by either witnessing the crime happening or by finding the undeniable footprint left behind.
Section 4. Hypothetical Syllogism.
All right, now we're introducing a completely new variable to our explainer, R. This formula shows us how consecutive logical links create a bridge from the very beginning directly to the very end. It's a logical chain reaction. If P forces Q to happen and Q forces R to happen, we can logically guarantee that P will ultimately force R to happen. In our detective scenario, if the suspect stole the diamonds, they have cash. If they have cash, they will buy a plane ticket. Therefore, if they stole the diamonds, they will absolutely buy a plane ticket.
What's super interesting here is how that middleman, Q, just perfectly drops out of the final equation, allowing you to seamlessly connect P directly to R. Step 1 gives us the first link in the chain. Step 2 gives us the second link. And because those links share Q, Step 3 allows us to forge a brand new, unbreakable link from the start straight to the finish. We don't even need to find the cache. Connecting the theft directly to the flight risk entirely streamlines our complex string of evidence.
Section 5. Disjunctive syllogism.
If we remember our symbols from earlier, this dictates that if we have P or Q, indicated by that little V symbol, and P is strictly not true, indicated by the negation symbol, we are left with only Q. It is the absolute purest form of deductive survival, the ultimate process of elimination. The stolen painting is either in the vault or it is in the getaway car. We crack open the vault, and it's completely empty. The painting must be in the car.
So, when two distinct options are presented and one is definitively crossed out, the sole survivor has to be the truth. Step 1 establishes our options, Step 2 completely invalidates the first clue, therefore Step 3 logically insists that the second clue is our undisputed reality. As any good detective knows, once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, no matter how improbable, simply must be the truth.
Bringing this all together, these 4 precise rules give you a complete, foundational toolkit for deducing unquestionable truth from any set of abstract clues. Whether you're stepping forward with Modus Ponens, tracking backward with Modus Tollens, chaining events together with a hypothetical syllogism, or eliminating the impossible with a disjunctive syllogism, you are engaging in the very architecture of reason itself.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you to ponder this. Are your daily arguments actually logical? And which of these exact building blocks will you rely on first? The next time you find yourself trying to prove a point or solve a problem, pause and ask yourself if you're truly following the path of the if, then, the not, and the or. Thanks so much for joining me on this logical journey. Keep questioning, keep deducing, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.